Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to Celestyal Summer School. I'm here with Janet Parton from Celestyal Cruises, and we're going to be chatting to you in two parts. We've got today's webinar and another one coming up, so you can learn all about your wonderful cruise line. So thank you for joining us, Jan.
Thank you for having me, and it really is summer school because it's boiling in here.
It really is. So we are going to talk to you all about, your two different regions. So today's webinar is going to be all about your core, your original, your OG Celestial Cruises in the Greek islands and the Med. And then the next webinar will be all about the Gulf. And Jan, we must tell everybody that if they watch this one and listen to what we say, and also the next webinar, there's a prize at stake, isn't there?
There is. So if you watch both webinars and you answer the question correctly at the end of the second webinar, we will give away to one very lucky travel agent a fully inclusive holiday, including one of our cruises to you can choose either to Greece and the Mediterranean or to the Arabian Gulf. And when I say fully inclusive, I mean with flights, transfers, the cruise, and a pre-hotel stay as well. So a really great prize.
And this is so exciting because this is what you just launched recently, wasn't it? You have got your Celestial Travel. Tell us about that before we get into it.
So we've recently launched Celestial Travel, which is our tour operator program. So we are now APTA and ATOL bonded.
Brilliant.
So this is what travel agents have been asking us for such a long time. And I'm so happy that we've got it off the ground. So this is us being able to package our cruises together with land stays, with hotels, transfers, shore experiences, and of course flights to create that fully inclusive package.
And how's it going so far? Because it's been up and running for a while now.
Yes, it's doing really well. We're really, really happy with the demand that we're seeing, and thank you to our travel agent partners who have really got behind us. You know, the great thing about this is it's opening up our distribution to travel agents that haven't been able to sell us previously because they haven't had that dynamic packaging opportunities. But we're also seeing, thankfully, all of our OTA partners and our tour operator partners continuing to sell and taking that cruise only and packaging it together themselves.
Yeah, so you've got best of both worlds now.
We've got the best of both worlds. And the great thing about these new packages with Celestial Travel is we're really trying to sort of differentiate our product. So, you know, with the Arabian Gulf cruises, for example, you can go to the Maldives with us. You know, with our Greek cruises, we've got stays in, you know, the Greek islands, but also Turkey as pre-stays to the cruise as well. So lots of opportunities to get behind Celestial.
All right, brilliant. Okay, so let's start then. If we can talk about Greece. So this is where you started out. So this is what you're known for. It's a really important part of the world for you. And so let's talk about that. And just remember, do listen carefully because we will talk about something. The answer to the question at the end of the second webinar will be
in here somewhere.
Will be in here somewhere. All right, so start us off then, Jan, because you have different options in the Greek islands and the Med, don't you?
Yes. So Greece and the Mediterranean, that's our heartland. You know, we've been operating in that region for many, many years, and you know, we know that region like the back of our hand. So we home port out of Athens, and we have two ships in our fleet. One is Celestial Discovery, which does 3 and 4 night itineraries, and the other is Celestial Journey, which does 7 night itineraries.
Okay.
So it's a really simple concept, really. So 2 ships, one does 3 and 4 nights, the other does 7. Both home porting out of Athens. So if I look at the 3 and the 4 nights, first of all, these itineraries are amazing because they are so port intensive. And this is a real USP for Celestial. So on our 3 night itineraries, you actually get to see 6 different ports.
I think this is mad because you do one in the morning and you're somewhere different in the afternoon.
Exactly. So it's really port intensive and it's a flavour of all these different Greek islands. So, you know, you're board in Athens and then that evening we'll sail to Mykonos. And you've then got sunset at Mykonos. So you get off the ship and you can have a wander and go and have a lovely cocktail and you're there late. So we set sail early morning. So you've got the whole night in Mykonos to enjoy it. Amazing. When the crowds have gone, it's a bit quieter. So it's a really nice opportunity to see Mykonos on a cruise, which isn't in the, you know, full of crowds in the daytime. Then you wake up in the morning and you're in Kuşadası in Turkey, which is, you know, the big highlight there is really Ephesus, which is, you know, such an iconic tourist attraction. The afternoon, you set sail and you're in this really beautiful island called Patmos.
Yeah.
So a small island with just 2,000 inhabitants. Again, we stay late into Patmos. You wake up in the morning, and depending on the season, because we'll have a winter and a summer season, you could be in Rhodes or Crete.
Okay.
And then in the evening, you arrive into Santorini.
Amazing.
And of course, with Santorini, again, one of the big pools of Santorini is Santorini at sunset.
Oh.
And we're there late. So again, you're there into the evening. And then you wake up in the morning and you're in Athens.
And all those, I mean, I'm very lucky that I've been on part of that cruise, and the islands really are very different.
Yes.
So you get a fantastic, as you say, taster or flavour. And, maybe then people go back to one of those islands that they really like, but they're not all the same, are they?
They're all very different. I mean, you've got Rhodes and Crete, which are the bigger islands, but Mykonos and Santorini, they're your hero ports. They're the big marquee ports that everybody wants to go to. But the fact that we're there later in the evening,
that's the key thing.
That's the key. That's the real USP, because you're seeing it at a different time when the crowds have gone.
Yeah.
But each island offers something very different, and Patmos is just so much quieter compared to the other islands as well. But
it's a good one to have in there.
Exactly.
And so who's booking these, Jan? So if you say it's a 3 or 4 night, people don't just go and do this. They tend to bolt it onto a land stay, do they?
So the 3 or the 4 nights, if we think about it, they run track itineraries. So the 3-night Friday embark, you get off on a Monday. The 4-night Monday disembark on a Friday.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
Yeah.
But in terms of guests on board, it is really mixed. And it's really mixed depending on the season.
Okay.
So shoulder seasons, we find that we have maybe a slightly older demographic on board. And when I say older for us.
Yeah.
So you're sort of talking maybe 55 plus, because that really lends itself to the touring market. So lots of our touring partners take allocations and sell the cruise as an add-on to their touring,
which might be in Greece or Turkey,
classical tour, exactly.
Yeah.
And then as you get into the summer months, the demographics completely change. So you get a younger audience, you get lots of families on board, lots of multi-generational, couples, families, friends, because you've got some of those really big hitting ports in there that people really want to see, and it's a taster. So we are finding that there's it's mainly a tour operator program in the sense of taking a land stay or a pre-hotel, pre or post,
and then having
to make almost a 7-night holiday.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. And then on board the ship, has it got a very Mediterranean? I know you obviously did a lot of work, because these were ships that you bought, you put them into dry dock, you renovated them all, you really made them sort of celestial. So what's the feel like on board when you're on a Greek island cruise?
So the 2 ships have been through multi-million euro refits. They are stunning. The quality of the ships is just so wonderful. You get on board, it is like a home away from home. So you step on board, the crew are just so welcoming, and if you've been on before, they're likely to remember your name, they're likely to remember who you are, you'll probably get a hug. So it's a really welcoming feeling when you get on board. It's quite relaxed. We're not formal in any way, shape or form, because we really do believe in getting our guests off the ship.
Yeah.
We want people to be off the ship, experiencing.
Well, with that many ports, it would be mad not to go and see them. Yeah.
So it's really informal. The dine-in, there's lots of dine-in options. So on both ships, we've got a plethora of dine-in options, from sort of like the main dining rooms to the buffets to sort of snack bars. I mean, more bars than, I can count on my fingers. Yeah. So lots of opportunities to sort of for dining and for entertainment as well. But it is very relaxed, very chilled, really nice, laid back Mediterranean vibe.
Nice.
The food is, we cater our dietary and sort of dining requirements according to the location that we're in.
Great, and I guess you're buying in all the local produce and stuff.
Exactly. So when you're sailing the Mediterranean, if you imagine you're sailing through the Med, it's a lovely, starry, beautiful, hot night. You've just been in Patmos, and then you get back on board, and there'll be a lovely barbecue on the top deck.
I was literally about to say that, because we did have this incredible barbecue, and the salads and the tomatoes, because it was
really
all fresh. Yeah, it was incredible.
Really, and we of course, bring all of our food into the ports that we're visiting. So, I mean, dining is just amazing. There's lots of opportunities for dining, but we do try and cater for the regions that we're in.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say that we really are about that home away from home.
Yeah. And just remind people, I think you say you're like a 4-star product, so it's a really good quality product.
4-star contemporary cruising is how I would position ourselves. The ships have got great facilities. Like I said, we've had a huge investment in that fleet. But for us, it's about making sure that everyone has what they need on board, but also making sure that the shore excursion program is absolutely catered to their needs and to see the best of the destination.
So we'll come on to the shore excursions, but just remind us how many passengers your ships take.
So Discovery has had a bigger renovation recently, where we've actually added more cabins into Discovery. So we now have more suite accommodation in Discovery. So passenger-wise, it's just over 1,300 passengers on Discovery, and then on Journey it's 1,260 passengers, so slightly smaller, but very similar. But we would call that a mid-sized ship.
Yeah, okay. And then let's talk about the shore excursions then, because it's all important. You can go off and just do your own thing, obviously, but what kind of shore excursions do you offer?
So for us, Celestyal is very much about, seeing the local communities, working with our partners in resorts as well. So our shore excursion is huge program. We've got dozens and dozens of shore excursions on any one of our...
To suit lots of different tastes.
Exactly, lots of different tastes, and also just clientele. So whether that's wine tasting or going into caves or going scuba diving or whatever it is, there's lots of different opportunities. We also have a partnership with National Geographic on some of our Greek itineraries, where we have certain destinations where we have excursions which are National Geographic guides. So there's lots of opportunities, but there's some amazing places that we see, and Ephesus, for example, I've just spoken about earlier on. When you go to Celestyal, that is the must see. If you haven't done that, you have to go and see Ephesus, because it's just mind-blowing.
It is completely, absolutely. All right, well, should we take a look at some of these wonderful places that you see?
These destinations.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Wow, that looked incredible. It took me back, actually. Lots of lovely memories from my little sailing with you, Jan, which was absolutely wonderful. So hopefully agents have been inspired by that. But what better than to win, I guess, a cruise for themselves. So do not forget, you need to watch the next webinar. And at the end of that one, there will be a killer question. But we have said it. We've said the answer
We've said it,
already.
I think, twice, actually.
Okay, all right. So thank you for watching this webinar on Celestyal Summer School. This one was all about Greece and the Mediterranean. And we will see you in a couple of weeks' time, when we will be talking all about the Arabian Gulf. So see you soon.
Bye-bye.